Prince Punnan. P-U-N. My name is like this, Prince Punnan. Actually, my father's name is also Punnan. My father's grandfather's name is also Punnan. So my name is Punnan because always we put the name of father after our name. So actually, I was born and brought up in a Christian family. My family background is my father was, when I was born, I was in my mother's womb. My father was the president of the Panchayat in my place. He was the president. So he gave the name Prince because he was the president. So he think that his son become like he put that name Prince to me. So because from childhood onwards, I was also interested in politics because I heard always my father's, the people are saying JJ like that to my father, and they are going by, because in those days in election and all, they will call my father's name and say JJ, people JJ, like that they will say. And I was also interested in politics from my childhood. So I brought up, but even though my father is in politics and he is rich also at that time, but my mother never get peace, because always my father comes to my home and he beat my mother. He always beat my mother, and he was a drunkard also. My father is a drunkard also. So he beat my mother, and she was always without peace. And her uncle is the supreme head of the Orthodox Church. You may have heard about Orthodox Church. It is the first church of in India itself. The first church is known as Orthodox Church. So her uncle is the supreme head of that Orthodox Church. We call them Catholicos. So my mother, she brought up and brought in this Orthodox family background. So she always prayed to God. She don't know how to pray because she follows the Orthodox rituals. So what we say, she will pray whatever Orthodox books say. She will pray like that. And when I used to say that when I wake up in the midnights, she was praying. She was praying all this that Orthodox rituals that in Britain books they have. It's about Mary prayer to Mary, prayer to saints and all. She used to pray all this prayer and in the nights, midnights and all. And sometimes I see my father is beating my mother because in the midnight. So this is the two things I used to see when I wake up in the midnight. I saw these two. If my father is not wake up beating, she is praying, and in her understanding, ask her understanding, because she don't know how to pray, because she just pray the prayers which a church follow. So she used to pray like that. After I began to grow up, in my fifth age, I prophesied about my father, because my father was in somewhere. So my mother, 2 days he was not in the home because he was in somewhere, and my mother was afraid, and she asked me to pray, because she told to me like this, son, if you pray, God will answer your prayers, because if you pray, God will answer your prayers. I am grown up, but God will not answer my prayers, but you are small, you are child, if you pray for your father, and God will surely answer. And I prayed and I prophesied that my father get an accident, and he has no problem, but his vehicle got some problems like that. I said that, and when he come back to my home, my mother asked, told her, you got accident. Yeah, my father told, who told you? But my mother didn't tell that it's me told, but she told came to know. So this from the age of in the age of five, I got the gift of prophecy. So I prophesied to what happened to my father. So, but after that, when I grow up, what happened means I become angry because my mother is praying. Because my mother at that time, she goes to a Pentecostal church, and in that church she went. When she went to that church, she began to pray. Always she began to pray. Earlier she prayed in the time which this Orthodox church given, but now she began to pray all the time. So she began to pray, but I began to become angry because she is going out from my culture, because my culture is, as I say, Orthodox belief and or Marthoma belief. So come out from the church and she is going to Pentecostal. I was angry with her, and I began to, when I was 14 years, 15 years, I began to beat my mother because she is praying. Whenever she prayed, I told her don't pray, but she did continue her praying. So what happened means I began to beat her, and I used to catch her hair like this, and I began to beat her. So whenever I am beating, she says like this: my son, my children will not be perished. They will listen to the voice of God. Like that, she prays and she said it to me. So what happened means, I went to the meeting when she goes. My father, as I told, he is the president of that panchayat. So he has everyone fear this meeting which she is going is a very small meeting at that time. So I went there and I beat my this pastor, not beat. I catch him like this, and pastor, I catch him like this, and I tried to beat him, but another pastor told, "Please don't touch the anointed person of God," like that one pastor told. So this is my childhood. Yes, in my small age, I become angry against my mother's prayer and all these things happen. But God touched me. God touched me. Even though I used to say like this: I was an antichrist. Once I was an antichrist. Now I am in Jesus Christ, because this is my altogether testimony. Because once I was an antichrist. I used to do all these things against my mother, the pastors, all these people. I done all these things. Even in Kottayam, I think many pastors were afraid of me, because I used to make problems with the church. But by the God's grace, in 2002, January 11, God touched me. God touched me means one day one lady, she's from Hindu background. Her name is Sudharma. She came and prayed with my mother. She was praying with my mother. I get inside. When she gets inside, I become angry with this lady, and I told a lot of rubbish things about her. And her husband is also coming as a believer only. This lady was already began to preach gospel, but this husband is a believer. He also did. I say rubbish things about him, and I told her, I was born in a Christian family. Who are you to teach me? Who are you to say these things? Like that I said to her, and I say a lot of things, and she began to cry. This Sudharma, her name is Sudharma. She began to cry, and she cried, and she went out from my home. He and her husband went out from my home. When they went out from my home, I go to my church convention. Means I told you, I born up. My mother was Orthodox, but I born in Marthoma church. Both are Episcopal churches. That means bishops and all are there. So I went go to my mother's church. Sorry, my church. And when I was there, I was sitting there. One preacher is preaching. I'm not listening to what he is saying, but I just when I was sitting there, I see this lady which I sent from my home. She's crying and going outside. I see that in my mind. She's crying and going out. So when I saw that in my mind, what happened means I cried. Because I don't know why I cried, because I used to beat my mother, I used to beat pastors, but this lady's tears made me cry. And I cried there, and when I was crying means I was not crying loudly, but I was tears coming out from my eyes. When I was sitting there and crying, the person who was preaching asked, anyone wants to live for Jesus? I don't know how I stand, but I stand up and I submit my life to Jesus. And this preacher, I don't know what he preached actually, but he just asked, is anyone wants to live for Jesus, just stand. I stand and I submit. And what happened means, after I come out from that meeting, I have a packet of cigarettes in my pocket. I take that cigarette and I want to burn it, but I cannot burn it because I put back, and again I take it, again I put back. Third time again I take it, but I was not able to use it, and I throw that cigarette packet again. After that I come back to my friends that they were using this ganja, ganja. Yeah, they were using ganja. My friends are there. So I went there and I was sitting there, but God is not allowing me that I cannot sit there. I stand up from there and my mind is something. I understand that another person is controlling me. Someone is controlling me. Not I cannot. I want to use cigarette, but I cannot use. I want to sit in the midst of these people, but I cannot sit there. What happened? Something happened in my life. The same day I submitted to God, that day changed my whole things. After that I come back to my home. Then God gave me some opportunities and all. By the grace of God, God began to speak to me. He asked, as I told you, my mission is among Muslims. Why? Because God speak to me. I went to Bible college after that, and when I was in Bible college, I was reading Bible. I see Galatians chapter 4:25 says that now Hagar stands for Mount Sinai in Arabia and corresponds to the present city of Jerusalem. So when I see that portion, I think why it says like this. Hagar stands for Mount Sinai because Hagar is the Ishmael's mother. So why like it? I think, and I understand that when God has a special purpose for these people, especially these Muslims, God has a special purpose. God wants to use these people for the glory of God's kingdom. So I understand that God has a special purpose. And when I was I was going to the terrace and I was praying at that time in Bible college. I was praying. I see that Jesus is coming in front near to me, and Jesus is saying that Ishmael, my brother. So he is saying with the looks, and he is saying, who like that? Who will serve my people, Ishmael's people? So Ishmael, my brother. Jesus is saying that. We know that Isaac's brother is Ishmael, but Jesus is saying that. I feel that Jesus coming to me and saying that Ishmael is my brother. So like that, I feel that I am called to serve these people, Muslim people. So my life I fully committed to serve these people, Muslims. As I say, I was born in Kottayam. Kottayam is a full Christian dominated area. All peoples are Christian, and also my family background is also that Christian, because as I said, my mother's uncle is the supreme head of the whole Orthodox Church. He is known as when Pope came to Kerala, he says like this: if you are the Pope of Rome, I am the Pope of Kerala. Like that he says that. He is such a powerful person. But God wants me not among Christians. He wants me among Muslims. So I commit my life fully to, dedicate my life fully to serve Muslims, and pray for me that just God help me to serve these people, to love these people, and to bring them to the Lord. So please pray for me. This is my small testimony.